now on Sunrise and streaming on crossroadstoday.com. In Brownsville, a driver is in custody after striking multiple people at a bus stop early Sunday. Police working to uncover a motive. And continuing coverage at the southern border, authorities preparing for a massive influx of migrants as Title 42 nears its end. Border cities calling on Biden to provide more federal resources. And across the crossroads, voters participated in the May 6th election over the weekend. We have the results.
And on the outside, looking at pretty quiet conditions according to the radar this morning so far. This was rain earlier on your Sunday that moved on through. They're quiet for now and will not be staying that way because rain chances on the rise really beginning tomorrow and staying that way. We'll give you the details coming up in your forecast.
Many Crossroads baseball and softball teams still alive. We'll have those matchups coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain. Today is the 8th day of May 2023. The time is now 6:31 on your Monday morning, and today it's Have a Coke Day. I know I'm a big fan of Coca-Cola, Trey. It's one of my vices. I have to confess, it's really delicious, but maybe have a Coke Zero.
There you go. Yeah, I got sugar and caffeine, perhaps not the best combination, but I've had many of those over the years. Dr. Pepper too, good drink, but you had to cut down on them a little at some point.
Just have one once a week, right? No.
Okay, two.
Okay, two. I'll
two a
take
week.
That, Trey.
2 a week.
Just one on Tuesday, one on Thursday.
There you go.
But today, one on Monday.
Yeah, because there's rain chance, we'll do one on Monday, so we'll make it 3 a week. So we better move on before we get to about 8 a week. All right, we're taking a look at the temperatures. Well, first on the outside, we're seeing cloudy sky, live view from Cuero. Now the temperature is 76 degrees with dew points in the mid-70s as well, keeping the humidity quite high. 100% is saturated out there. 3-mile visibility is a little bit of patchy fog here and around the region, but no advisories as of yet. No really widespread areas of fog, but be careful if you're driving regardless. There are 80 degrees along the coast currently this morning, from Seadrift to Port O'Connor to Port Lavaca and down to Rockport. 76 degrees in Victoria currently. And we'll see the fog begin to dissipate coming up by about 7:30, 8 a.m., mainly in northern counties, because a little bit more of a breeze has kept the atmosphere a little bit more mixed up, so not allowing the fog to really get going. So not really worried about visibilities too much. But down the line, I think we're worried about more heavy rainfall. Why? Because the upper low is getting organized near Big Bend currently. It's moving into Texas today and be a slow mover across the southern parts of the state into the northeast areas of the Texas coming up by the late week, the weekend time frame. This in combination with the front coming down by the late week time frame, weekend time frame, will give us better rain chances around here, and possibility could be some flooding around here in some parts of the region as we get closer toward the weekend. More on that later on in the full forecast to come. Stay dry out there and make it a great Monday. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. Breaking news out of San Antonio this morning. Authorities are searching for 14-year-old Jules Robinson. Robinson was last seen on Monday, May 1st at around midnight in the 900 block of Classen Pass. Robinson is of white descent, 5'6" and 130 pounds. He has black hair and brown eyes. He was last seen wearing a paperboy hat, glasses, a dark t-shirt, black Nike shorts and slides. Robinson was last seen on foot. Authorities believe him to be in grave or immediate danger. If you have any information on his whereabouts, you are asked to contact the police immediately by dialing 911. Another tragedy unfolding in Texas, this time in the border town of Brownsville. Authorities say at least 7 people are dead and at least 10 more suffered injuries after they were hit by a vehicle. The incident happened about 8:30 Sunday morning. A senior law enforcement leader says the individuals were waiting at a bus stop located near a Catholic charity shelter. It's still unclear about the exact circumstances or a motive surrounding the incident. Authorities say the driver, a Hispanic man, was charged and arrested for reckless driving. Additional charges are likely. An influx of migrants at the U.S. border is underway as the border restriction known as Title 42 is set to end this week. Border agents are preparing for a massive surge when Title 42 ends on May 11th, and mayors of towns along the southern border are calling on the Biden administration to provide more federal resources. In preparation for the influx, unarmed active duty troops will be present at the southern border to support Border Patrol as needed. Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas also visited with agents on Thursday to review border law enforcement's Title 42 response plans. Leading us to your viewer poll, do you think Title 42 should be extended? Okay, let's take a look. 80% of you say yes, and the rest of you say no. We want to keep hearing from you. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. You can also scan the QR code. It's right there on your screen to take part. One person is dead and 2 others are hurt after an altercation erupts on a train in Dallas. A DART spokesperson said authorities responded to a shooting on a Green Line train Sunday afternoon. DART says the incident started out as an argument between 2 people. So far, no word on what escalated the situation, but at one point, shots were fired and 2 people were struck. Both victims were taken to Baylor Hospital and 1 died after arrival. The suspect is on the loose. An investigation is underway. At least 2 people are dead following a triple shooting in an Atlanta neighborhood. Officers say they responded to the shooting at around 6:30 at a home along Francis Place. They arrived to find 2 men who appear to be shot. Those men were taken to a local hospital and later died due to their injuries. Authorities learned a 3rd victim also arrived at the hospital by private vehicle. That individual is in a stable condition. Investigators are working to determine the circumstances surrounding the shooting, but believe a dispute led to the triple shooting. Voters have passed a $10 million bond to fund a new 3-story student success center at the college. Victoria College already has $26.5 million to go toward the construction, those funds coming by way of committed grants, gifts, and institutional funds. The total cost of a new student success center, $36.5 million. The bond passed with 54% of voters saying yes. The homeowner with a $100,000 valued home would see a $2.10 tax rate increase for 3 years, and that rate would go down $5.80 in 2027 due to paid off bond debt. There's not a tax rate increase for homeowners over the age of 65 or residents with disabilities who have filed for an exemption. 2 incumbents unseated in the election for Victoria ISD trustee. Incumbent Brett Baldwin unseated by BJ Nelson, with Nelson receiving 52% of the vote. Baldwin receiving 48% of the vote. The other incumbent, Tammy Keeling unseated by Rick Jones in the race for the Victoria ISD trustee single-member District 5 seat. Jones receiving 65% of the vote and Keeling receiving 35% of the vote. Members of California's Reparation Task Force voted Saturday to send a proposal to state lawmakers to consider reparations legislation. After 2 years of meetings and public comment, the 9-member committee cast their vote in Oakland to approve recommendations for what reparations could look like for Black residents. The committee's work to research and secure reparations for Black Americans has garnered nationwide attention. This as it relates to the lasting impacts of slavery and discrimination. The recommendations include a formal apology, money, and services to help descendants of enslaved people gain equity. Okay, this is the QR code that you can scan with your camera phone or with your phone's camera, and it'll help you download the Crossroads Today app. You'll get breaking news alerts, vote in our viewer poll. You can also get the latest in news, weather, and sports and learn about our ongoing contests, submit those news tips and photos. The time is now 6:39 on your Monday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. 2 men face several charges this morning after their arrests Thursday night.
The investigation continues this morning after 8 people were killed in a Texas mass shooting. I'm Lindsay Watts. Coming up, why federal authorities are looking at the shooter's possible ties to white supremacy.
And we're looking at upper low getting more organized south of Big Bend. It's headed to the east. What does this low here have to do with our weather here? Well, come to find out, quite a lot. We'll give you the details coming up in your forecast. of the morning on your 9 o'clock on your Tuesday, seeing thunderstorms around the Crossroads region. As this low continues to kind of trek to the northeast, kind of a slow mover, work through your day Wednesday into your Thursday. Still close enough by here to give us some rain chances all the way into your Thursday and even to the weekend. And this front also will be a player coming up. It's currently stationary well up in the Panhandle, will stay in that way. By the end of the week, it'll make a move to the south. Moisture in place, still the instability with the upper low. We'll even raise our rain chance even more coming up by the time we get to your weekend time frame. So please keep that in mind. Severe weather, marginal risk from way out west from Karnes City westward toward the hill country. So pretty mild conditions around here in comparison. We've got your full forecast coming up later on. Carolina?
Thank you, Trey. Baseball and softball playoffs matchups for area schools are out. Sports reporter Zach Brown has more.
Howdy Crossroads, new week, new playoff series as we've mentioned, and we've got a lot to get to. And how about this softball matchup? Shiner and Ganado, they split the season series, and last time these two met, Shiner had one hit, but it was a homer, and they shut Ganado out. These two knew they'd meet again, game 1 Wednesday at Rice. Ganado baseball moving on as well. They get the Kennedy Lions. They are playing at the Shiner Sports Complex, game 1 Thursday at 7. Shiner Refugio had some unbelievable football games this year, and the two schools meet again in the postseason, this time in baseball. Game 1 of that series at Riverside Stadium this Wednesday at 7. Two more area schools, Hallettsville Industrial Softball meet this Friday in Columbus. Hallettsville looking to repeat as state champs, won the previous two matchups against the Cobras this year. Industrial looking to change that. Hallettsville baseball playing, they get the Hondo Owls. El Campo baseball and softball, they both get Bernie. Bernie baseball is Hunacuero out, and El Campo, of course, coming off its series win over the Lady Gobblers. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
Thank you, Zach. All right, we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and on your cell phone, just search Crossroads Today Plus. We now turn to that deadly mass shooting that took place at an Allen Outlet Mall over the weekend. Here's the latest.
We got shots fired at the Allen Mall.
Video shows the gunman jumping out of a car Saturday with an AR-15 style rifle. He then opens fire on people at an outdoor shopping center in Allen, Texas, just north of Dallas.
I hid behind a freezer and everybody thought that we were doomed.
At least 8 people were killed, including a 5-year-old boy.
To see these first responders act, visibly shaken and crying and sick and trying to catch their breath and trying to understand what was going on, that will always be in my mind.
A vigil was held Sunday for the victims who lost their lives and for those still fighting to overcome injuries. Overnight, officials said 7 people are still hospitalized, including 3 in critical condition. The shooter was killed after an officer on a different call ran toward the gunfire. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News the gunman was wearing a patch associated with white supremacists. They say the FBI is looking at his writings and clothing for other links to extremist ideology. Authorities say in 2008, the suspect was discharged from the Army for mental health concerns. Police have searched his home in Dallas.
We believe at this point that the shooter acted alone.
This is the 199th mass shooting in the country so far this year. President Biden says it's too shocking to be so familiar, again calling on Congress to ban assault weapons. Gun reform advocates plan to rally today at the Texas Capitol in Austin. Lindsay Watts, ABC News, Washington.
2 men faced several charges this morning after their arrest Thursday night. The arrest coming after a traffic stop on State Highway 71 near West Point. Authorities say the deputy who initiated the stop saw 24 uncapped Corona bottles in the vehicle when he made contact. That led to a search of the vehicle where narcotics and a loaded gun was found. 22-year-old Yerdy Casasola Lara and 21-year-old Jose Cuevas of Houston were arrested without incident. They were transported to the Dan R. Beck Justice Center and charged with possession of a controlled substance, possession of marijuana, and the unlawful carrying of a weapon. The time is now 6:46 on your Monday morning. Still to come, the state of Maine reporting its first case of the measles since 2019.
Good morning. It's almost 10 minutes away from the 7 a.m. hour, and temperatures starting off near 80 degrees along the coast, 70s from Victoria Inland everywhere you go, in the mid-70s this morning. And rain chances for today only rather slim. We'll keep the clouds in, some breaks in the cloud cover from time to time, seeing a little bit of sunshine from time to time as well, especially toward the afternoon hours. But don't get used to that because it's going to cloud up again very quickly, coming up for you early on your Tuesday morning, and rain chances continuing for the next several days after that. And could have some good rain chances coming in, and I mean some heavy rain chances as well. So we'll keep that in mind, some of the heavier cells for your day Tuesday into Wednesday, as the upper low remains to our west and moves slowly to the north and northeast. 89 degrees today, still one more hot day, definitely humid as well. Index values approaching 100 degrees. Thunderstorm possible in the afternoon, I'm thinking. Overnight tonight, pretty calm as well, 70 degrees, cloudy skies. Isolated storm approaching from the west. Rain chances for your day tomorrow, 85 degrees, thunderstorms likely. Extended forecast for us. Notice the rain chances in all week with high temperatures in the 80s because of the cloud cover and rainfall. Lows in the 70s. Alert days by the weekend with some possible flooding, and the rain chances increase even more at that time.
The state of Maine is reporting its first case of the measles since 2019. Maine Center for Disease Control and Prevention says the patient is a child. The child who tested positive had received a dose of the measles vaccine, but the Maine CDC says it's, quote, considering the child to be infectious out of an abundance of caution. The CDC listed several locations where others could have been exposed to the measles, including a restaurant at a mall and 2 medical centers. The CDC says the U.S. has seen 10 cases of measles in 8 states so far this year. And still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. At least one person died in a shooting in Wisconsin Sunday night. Today's question of the day. Today we want to know, May 8th is a monumental day in world history. For what reason? Okay, Trey, we've got several guesses this morning. Let's see, Leticia, Albert, Patricia, Michael, Mary Helen, Beth, and Melanie are all guessing V-Day or VE Day, Victory in Europe Day.
Oh, fantastic. Thanks everyone for chiming in. And the question of the day, of course, and ready for the answer? Yes, we are, I believe. Today is VE Day, Victory in Europe Day.
And this is different than victory overall because the Americans still...
Although Europe gave up on this date back in 1945, but the Japanese did not.
Yes.
They had to wait till September before they finally surrendered. So it was coming a long way. World War II wasn't over until they surrendered officially. So there you go. There's your answer for the question of the day. Stay tuned tomorrow. Another great question of the day. Get your brain going for your Tuesday.
Authorities in Aransas Pass are looking for a missing juvenile. This is Trevor Brown. He was last seen in Aransas Pass Sunday wearing black and red pajama pants and a black t-shirt. If you have any information on his whereabouts, it should be reported to the Aransas Pass Police at 361-758-5224. At least one person died in a shooting in Wisconsin Sunday night. Authorities received multiple 911 calls for a shooting in Fond du Lac shortly before 7 p.m. First responders arrived on scene within minutes and found 3 shooting victims. They were all taken to a local hospital. The victims include a 20-year-old woman who later died and an 18-year-old man and a 49-year-old man. Both of those individuals remain hospitalized, and police say the suspects remain at large. They are urging residents in the area to keep their doors locked. 4 people are dead after a small plane crashed in Teller County, Colorado, Saturday night. The Federal Aviation Administration says the plane, a single-engine Cessna, was flying from Fremont County Airport to Centennial Airport. Deputies responded to the scene of the crash, which they say happened Saturday night in rough terrain near the Fremont County line. Authorities say someone in another plane saw the wreckage and called the sheriff's office Sunday morning. The Taylor County coroner confirmed that all 4 passengers on board the plane were deceased. Their names not released. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Former President Donald Trump will not testify in his rape and defamation trial on Monday. After letting Sunday's 5 p.m. deadline pass, no filings were made by the deadline set by Judge Lewis Kaplan for Trump's attorneys to notify the court if he wanted to testify. The case stems from claims made by writer E. Jean Carroll that the former president raped her in the 1990s and later defamed her. A video deposition given by Trump was made public for the first time Wednesday, and Trump's attorney, Joseph Tacopina, told the judge on Thursday he had waived his right to testify in the trial. Closing arguments will begin today at 10 a.m. The 2023 Kentucky Derby witnessed the death of 7 horses and 5 others were scratched from the race. 2 horses, Freezing Point and Chloe's Dream, were hurt and euthanized on the same day. Trainer Sappy Joseph Jr. was also suspended from the downs after 2 of his horses died, which scratched Lord Miles from the Derby, and Forte, who was a favorite, was also scratched because of an injury. The 7 deaths have raised new concerns about the sport's treatment of horses. At least 2 tornadoes were confirmed in parts of Indiana on Sunday, causing widespread damage. The National Weather Service confirmed 2 EF1 tornadoes in New Albany. One of the tornadoes had estimated winds of up to 105 miles per hour. The storm brought down trees and power lines, leaving many residents without power. Damage also reported near Indiana University Southeast, resulting in roof damage at nearby apartments. Crews are working diligently to assess the damage and restore power to customers as quickly as possible. Victoria County Commissioners meet today at 10 a.m. We have some items from their agenda. They'll hear a proclamation designating May 7th through the 13th, 2023 as National Correctional Officers Week in Victoria County. Commissioners will also consider the appointment of the Victoria County Judge or his designee as the hearing examiner pursuant of Section 2.3 of the Victoria County Game Room Ordinance. If you cannot attend Commissioners Court today in person, the meeting will be available via Zoom. And we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads, today. Plus, you can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, and on your cell phone. Just search Crossroads today. Plus, and we do have time for a final check of our forecast with Trey.
And thank you, Carolina. Get ready for the rainfall this week. Definitely starting off in the 70s this morning. We'll be near 90 degrees with some breaks in the cloud cover by the afternoon, allow the temperature to rise a little bit more. Cloudy skies throughout the day, of course. Not seeing much in the way of precipitation around the Golden Crescent region so far, but that'll be changing as we head towards your day on Tuesday. Let's run this model all the way through Monday, keeping it quiet through the 11 p.m. hour. But thunderstorms building out west, moving into our region early in the morning for your Tuesday. Some of these could be containing some heavy rainfall and gusty winds and frequent lightning. So we're watching the weather developments by then. And the rain chances are still pretty high after this point into the rest of the week. Take a look at the forecast for today, 89 degrees. Thunderstorm possible throughout the day, 20% chances. So most areas will remain dry. Overnight lows will be near 70 degrees, cloudy skies, isolated thunderstorms here and there. And revving up the thunderstorm chances as the upper level low gets closer to us for your Tuesday. So thunderstorms likely widespread. Some of those heavy rainfall could be in our region, 85 degrees for the daytime high. And the extended forecast, look at that. We're looking like rain chances will continue, 50% chances through the rest of the work week, revving up even more as the front gets closer to us by the weekend, causing some more heavy rainfall. So we're concerned about potential flooding by that time. There's definitely the soils will be saturated by the end of the weekend. So watching that as it gets closer, get a better handle on that. Today though, dry conditions most part, and then rain chances for your Tuesday and the rest of the week.
Well, Trey, I have a fun prop from the coronation.
Oh, there you go.
I didn't go myself, but I hear dubbed the reigning meteorologist on the Sunrise Desk. Thank you, Trey.
Well, thank you. I feel like a royal, very royal.
Well, have a wonderful start to the week. Have a great Monday.